Walking down these empty streets, echoes of the past I meet, lost and wandering for so long, searching for where I belong. Sunrise breaking through the night, guiding me back to the light. Every step feels like a prayer, promises hang in the air. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Memories of laughter and tears, answers to my deepest fears. In these walls I find my truth, washing away the years. Oh, the road was long and rough, but my spirit's had enough. Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Oh, the road was long and rough, but my spirit's had enough. Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Walking down these empty streets, echoes of the past I meet, lost and wandering for so long, searching for where I belong. Sunrise breaking through the night, guiding me back to the light. Every step feels like a prayer, promises hang in the air. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Memories of laughter and tears, answers to my deepest fears. In these walls I find my truth, washing away the years. Oh, the road was long and rough, but my spirit's had enough. Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Oh, the road was long and rough, Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place your pain will cease. Walking down these empty streets, echoes of the past I meet.
Yo. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. I'm sorry I'm late, y'all. I decided to try to get coffee at the last minute. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Let me see. Get in the chat. Let me see. Make sure y'all can hear me. Let me know that I am in your ears. Let me see. Let me see who's in the chat. Good morning, E. Cousin E. Good morning. Fired up, ready to go. Every morning, man. You bring the flame every morning. Tell B in the building. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, my sisters. Thank you, my sister. I want to let y'all know this morning I'm going live also to the Dear Sister podcast. I'm on the Dear Brother podcast and the Dear Sister podcast this morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. All right, y'all. I am talking about toxic femininity today. I am talking about toxic femininity today. That's what we're talking about. That's the topic. That's the topic. And so I think that we don't talk enough about it. We don't talk enough about it. Let me see. What's the name of the song? Wow, I love it. I needed to play this all day and let it resonate within me. I'll send it to you, sister. I got this song. One of my brothers who owns a studio made this song for the beginning of my show. So I will find it in my file somewhere and I'll send it to you. Yeah, he made this song for me for my show. All right, let me see who's else in the building. Good to go, my man. All right, Xavier. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my brother. All right, Eric, I'm glad you can hear me. Thank you, my brother. Listen, y'all, give me 30 seconds. I'm gonna go grab this coffee because what I thought about today, I had my water. Now look, I told y'all brothers before we start the show. I told y'all brothers, you got to start your morning with this. All right, every morning, this much water. Listen, it's no need of me telling y'all guys about having all this good inward health and not having good outward health. Start your morning every day, not with cold water, neither. Warm water with some lemon or some warm water with some baking soda in it. It will alkaline your body and make you feel good. Start your day. All right, bro? So get that. Where are my glasses so I can see y'all? All right, so start your day like this, all right? But this morning, so I was riding with the water. My whole plan was to ride with the water, y'all. I was going to ride with the water, said it's all I need. But then when I'm sitting there getting ready for the show, and I said, wait a minute, I'm talking about toxic femininity today. I need coffee. I'll be right back. Let me grab my coffee. All right. I don't got to grab my coffee. I think my coffee's coming to me. All right, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get into it. How y'all doing? Let me hit the chat. How y'all doing? Hit the like button too. Make sure you hit the like button. When you hit the like button, what that does is it sends other people this way. It lets other people know, and it lets YouTube know that people love our community, and it'll send other people to our community. So make sure you hit the like button. Hit that like button this morning. I'm also, again, I want to announce that I'm on the Dear Sister podcast live this morning. I'm not just on the Dear Brother podcast. I'm on the Dear Sister podcast this morning. Let me see. What'd you say, E? I better bring it. All right, I'm going to bring it, bro. I'm going to bring it. That's why I'm polishing my glasses. I'm getting my glasses. My old lady getting my coffee. I'm a cook today. I'm going to cook today because it's too much talk about toxic masculinity. It's too much talk been going on about toxic masculinity. And we've talked about men and to the point where I've had deep conversations where women are scared of men. It's been such a bad talk about men. Men are this, men are that, men are no good, men are not faithful. All these different tropes about men, right? And guess what, sister? I would never tell you ladies that I want you brothers to know I'm in the Dear Sister podcast. So the ladies are in the room. They'll be in the room. So we'll have a good conversation today. All right. So don't be afraid to jump in the chat, say how you feel. I'll have some teaching. I'll also have some conversation. Because I think this today will be full if we talk to each other as well. All right. And so I think there is I talk to women about this all the time, about women being afraid of men but the thing that blows my mind is that though women talk bad about men talk bad about women, social media pushes this narrative, but we still date, right? We still connect, we still make children, right? And so if we're going to have unhealthy communication with each other, as far as men and women, if we're going to have unhealthy communication with each other, then how do we raise kids that can communicate healthy? I want y'all to see something here. That all the issues, because y'all know I always look at the background of something. It's one thing to talk about a topic. It's another thing to talk about what's driving the topic. And I think that's what the podcast is all about today, is let's figure out what's driving these narratives of men staying away from women and women staying away from men, because we know that's not happening, right? We know that's not happening at all. We are getting together, but what we're finding is not a lot of healthy relationships. Y'all let me know in the chat how many healthy relationships did y'all see growing up? Let me in on that. How many healthy relationships did y'all see growing up? Let me know. What did you see growing up? Because it's hard to have a healthy relationship or know what it is, because most of us, this is the truth, most of us are guessing at what that even is, right? We're guessing at what healthy relationship even is. A lot of us are taking a shot in the dark, right? So for example, for me, I grew up with my mom and dad. I saw my dad take care of my mom, but I never saw him be like lover boy with my mom, right? And so that's see, what you see growing up, you repeat. Even if you don't like it, you repeat it unless you confront it. And so in my house, that's what I saw. So I had to learn how to love. I had to learn what it meant to not just take care of, but be able to take care of a woman's heart. I had to learn that, right? So in the chat, let me know. Let me know in the chat, how many healthy relationships did you guys see growing up? And how did that affect your life? You know, how did that affect you relationally? How did that affect you being married? How did that affect your life as far as a relationship goes? Did you see yourself fall into different situations because you didn't know what healthy was? Or let's go deeper, right? For some of you ladies that are in the room, how many of you never saw healthy love from a woman to a man and left you kind of guessing? You know, let's talk about that this morning. Let's talk about that. So I'm gonna get into the class, but I'm gonna get into my lesson, but just show jump in the chat. Let me know what that did to your relationship. You know, how did that affect you? How did that affect you? Let me see. Okay, let me see. All right, not many. Okay, you didn't see many. Okay, how did that affect you? How did that affect you? Tell me how that affects you growing up in your relationships, right? Whether it was married, whether it was dating, and some of you guys jump in. Xavier, let me know. Let me know how did you go about relationships, seeing your examples growing up, whether they were bad or good, But let me get into this while y'all thinking and plotting. Thank you so much, honey. While y'all putting it together, let's get into it. I want to talk about toxic femininity today. Whole lot of talk about toxic masculinity, and I don't even know if a lot of people who say that word know what it is. I think that some words now, they trend so bad that people say them ignorantly. Like, what is toxic masculinity, right? What is toxic femininity, right? I think I have some sort of a definition, but I wouldn't act like I'm a brilliant genius who just knows that this is the definition. But I'm going to give y'all a piece of what I firmly believe it is. I think toxic toxic femininity and toxic masculinity is when the traditional male or female traits are used to manipulate the other partner, right? Where you use the traits. See, it doesn't start out evil. It doesn't start out evil, right? It's the regular stuff that we both have in us. I'll give you an example because we're talking about feminine toxic femininity today. I'll give you an example, or I'll ask y'all a question as well. Was Eve toxic to Adam? Did Eve become toxic to Adam? You know, at what point did she become toxic? Let me see. Depending on the environment, you may have thought you may have lived in the essence of what was, but as you experience life and your partner, there's growth in jumping over hurdles as a team. Okay, I get you, E, but the question is, don't dodge this question. I'm asking you, how did how you grew up affect how you built relationships? I'm not talking about hurdles we jump over later on, because guess what? Some of those hurdles, let me read this again. But as you experience life with your partner, there's growth in jumping over hurdles as a team. Okay, but how many hurdles wouldn't have been there? How many hurdles did we bring to the relationship that we have to jump over? That's the real question. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of the hurdles we had, ask yourself, you know, what would they have been such a tough battle for me if I saw relationships right? Let me see. Miss Kennedy, what's up, Ed? Good morning, my sister. Good morning. Good morning. So, E, come back at me with that. Come back at me with that, because I think, again, a lot of the huddles and hurdles we go over in relationships, the question is, did we bring it? Did we bring the hurdles? Did we bring the fight that we're fighting? Tell B, learn behavior. Learn behavior. Okay, let me see. It made me think that it was the only way to love when it wasn't love at all. Oh my God. Okay. See, that's big. That's big, right? It made me think it's the only way to love when it wasn't at all, right? We are receiving bad lessons, right? And I talked about this a little bit yesterday. I talked about relationships yesterday, where we're operating off of bad lessons, number one, right? And then number two, not only are we operating off bad lessons, a lot of us are guessing our way. And I'm not knocking us for that, right? I had to guess my way through what it meant to love, right? And not just take care of. Let me keep going, because we're going to get into it today. I've seen many relationships around me, but not sure exactly what a healthy relationship would be. Ooh. Okay, Xavier. I've seen many relationships around me, but I'm not sure exactly what a healthy relationship would be defined as. All right, let's talk about that. What is a healthy relationship? What is a healthy relationship? I didn't forget your question, Xavier. I'm coming back to you, boss. They jumping in. We talking today. I did the complete opposite of what I saw. Ooh. I knew how I wanted to be treated, and the way my father treated my mother wasn't it. I was sure to protect my children from unhealthy relationships. Okay, Miss Kennedy. Woo! It's going to be a talk today. Yes, I agree with you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Oh, this is a heavy topic for 6:18 in the morning, right? But this is when the thinkers think. This is when the thinkers think, right? Okay, so let's talk about it a little bit. Let me get into it. Y'all keep on talking because I'm gonna come back to the chat, right? But I want to talk about I want to focus today, even though I'm on both podcasts. I want to have a conversation. I want to focus, but I want to focus on toxic femininity, not because I'm coming at you, ladies, but I think you all know that the bigger conversation has always been masculine toxic masculinity, right? And then I think at times, I don't want to get off course here, but I want to throw this in. I think at times what we call toxic masculinity, some cases, I'm not talking about the abusive man, right? I'm not talking about the abusive man. I'm not talking about the verbally, physically abusive man, right? I'm talking about some women who never grew up with a dad or never grew up with an example of a man that corrected her with love or told her she was wrong with love. If a woman never had a man tell her she was wrong with love, then any man that comes to her and challenges her standpoint on stuff, I found that a lot of women will call that toxic masculinity. I think toxic masculinity has been defined wrong. Right? And don't get scared, because I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about toxic femininity today. But y'all know me, I'm going to talk about it from a spiritual standpoint. I'm not going to get caught up in this 2024 nonsense that everybody's talking about. You know, the what they call it, the mad black woman, or what they call y'all, what's a trope, the trope against black women, the angry black woman. I'm not getting into that nonsense. I'm not getting into the angry black woman and that's all stuff to separate us. But when we really go down in the core of this thing and we really get spiritual on this thing, you can really see how this thing was a plan of the enemy. Because what I really want to show y'all is this battle of toxic masculinity and femininity and all this stuff. It didn't just start here. This thing started in the Garden of Eden. There's always been a plot to tear up family. There's always been a plot to make men look at women crazy and to make women look at men crazy. And the enemy knows that if I can get them to despise each other, I will always control the narrative in the earth. Right? And so what I'm trying to do, and that's why I went on both podcasts this morning, what I'm trying to do is get us to really look at what this thing is. So again, I believe that toxic femininity is when a woman uses her feminine traits, right, to manipulate, to control, to harm, rather than support and nurture. Now, what is that? Again, we can go back to the Garden of Eden. When Eve went and had that conversation with the serpent, right? And she gave her ear to the serpent, right? Let's think about this first. Let's think about this, ladies. And let's look at it in the context of today. Are there still women in relationships that will go out and give their ear to all kinds of nonsense and negative thinking, and then bring that fruit back to your relationship? Oh, let's get into it today. Does that still happen? I think it does. I think women are still, at times, you still are going to some of these negative podcasts. I think there's a whole bunch of negative, nasty, irrelevant, ignorant podcasts where people are giving advice based on nothing but their pain. I believe that now there's so many podcasts, and this podcast and that podcast, right? Now y'all saying, well, Christian, you podcasting. Yes, but I'm giving you truth from a spiritual standpoint. I've given you vulnerability from my mistakes. What I will never do is jump on this microphone and try, because a lot of this stuff is just for likes and clicks, right? A lot of this stuff is for likes and clicks. And when you're trying to feed a society truth, but your truth is based on likes and clicks, then how long will your truth be truth? At some point, your truth will no longer be truth, because it's more about monetization and more about views and likes than it is about truth. See? So that's the reason I come on here, and I got to start doing that more, but you barely hear me say like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Not that it's not important. It would help me. It would help me get monetized. It would build my audience, but I'm more about truth. I'm more about truth than just building the audience. My audience will come based on truth, not based on clickbait. So again, I believe that Eve, that it wasn't her intention. This is the thing, ladies. A lot of things aren't your intention. It's the work of an enemy. It's a work of an enemy that will get in your mind and say, use this beautiful thing to manipulate the man that you love, right? And I used to be a pastor, so I understand. Y'all don't have to say amen. Y'all don't have to agree. See, truth is truth. And again, this is from the beginning of time. A lot of you are being crept with this spirit because it's spiritual. It's spiritual to have a woman try to control her man. She can't grab him by the throat and throw him down the steps. She can't wrestle him down to the floor, punch him in the head. That's not her power. Her power is her words. Her power is her seduction. And seduction is a gift. I want you to know this. Seduction is a gift. We look at seduction and say it's a bad word, but seduction is not a bad word. Seduction is a gift that I believe that every woman was born with. And when she uses this seduction, she can use this to heal her husband. She can use this to get him out of pain. If he's in pain, right? Mental, emotional pain, she can seduce him to health. She can seduce him out of a place he's in to bring him in. Now you understand that seduction is not an evil, nasty sex word. I'm sorry, I can't say sex on YouTube. X word. Huh? It's not an evil word. But when it's manipulated, what did I tell y'all yesterday? You can drink water or drown in it. It's not the element, it's how you use it. You can cook with fire or burn down a home. It's not the element, it's how you use it, right? Seduction is not the issue, it's how you use it. Are you using it to bring healing or seduce your man out of tough places? Or are you using it to seduce your man into a place that's tough so you can manipulate his mind? Let me look in the chat. All right, let me see. Yes, I wanted to follow those old, but someone. Yeah, let me see. Okay. Yes, wanting to follow those of old, but some were not good examples. Yes, yes. See, some of this stuff was not good examples. And this is what I'm saying, y'all. Even if you can grow up looking at something and saying, you know, that's not a good example, you will do what you see until you confront it. That's why I do these tough podcasts of hitting these harder topics, especially with you sisters, right? Because I'm going to tell you, there's an emotional imbalance between men and women. Let me use a better word. There's an emotional, I believe that there's an emotional inequality. I believe that there's emotional inequality between men and women, where the emotions of a woman is lifted higher than the emotions of a man, or how she feels is worshiped while a man's feelings are put low. I believe that. I believe that's driven, again, not by men or not by women. This podcast is not to make enemies of each other. It's to show you the spiritual things behind this battle. That if we can see the spiritual things, we can get to it. Let me see. Emotional abuse. Yes. Yes. Manipulation. Yes. Let me see. I've done that. Okay. Brought other problems into my home. I became conscious of it and stopped, apologized to my husband and changed behavior. Yes. That's big, Miss Kennedy. That's big. That's brave. That's female vulnerability, right? Because let me tell y'all something. I believe as much as we say, see, again, these narratives, I believe some of these narratives are false. Men don't talk. Men aren't vulnerable, right? Just because as a woman, you will talk or you will complain or you will express doesn't mean that's a healthy expression, right? It doesn't mean you're being vulnerable just because you're complaining. You're just complaining. Vulnerability looks for healing. Don't think you're being vulnerable because you tell your man how you feel, right? And men, don't believe that a woman is being vulnerable or open to you because she's expressing how she feels, right? That doesn't mean she's open. Open means we're open to find an answer. Open doesn't mean I'm going to open my mouth and just trash you. Come on, let's learn from this. And I don't care who gets offended today, because the only person I'm trying to offend is the enemy who's being destructive against relationships and making men hate women and women hate men. All this stuff about men, the passport bros. I'm going to get a passport so I can find a woman who don't express herself. Because a lot of these clowns who are saying this stuff, out of the whole United States of America, you got a lot of men. I'm going to be a passport bro. I'm going to go get this woman who don't speak English and all that. Come on, man. Come on. You know what? That says more about the weakness of men, that you got to go to another country to find a woman who's going to be nice to you. Come on. Where's your perception? You saying out of all the millions of people in the United States, you can't find a healthy relationship? A lot of times us as men, we're looking for healthy relationships and we're not healthy. Come on, brothers. There's times where we bring complete trash to a relationship, right? And we're looking for a woman to nurture us out of all our pain. But I'm going to say this to men and to women. Sometimes you are too much, especially to women. Because sometimes a man will acknowledge, man, I got a lot going on. He'll know it. He'll know it. But a lot of times you ladies will not admit that you got a lot going on. Or you'll say things like this. He just got to accept me for me. No, he doesn't. No, he does not. A man does not have to accept you for you. He does not. Some of the toxic behavior that you've had or that you've carried, that you've learned from your mother and your aunties and all them, and the tricks you played on every other man you dated. Don't tell me you finally find a good man and it's his job to fix all the dirt that you've thrown yourself in. That is not a man's job. No, it's not. No, it's not. And stop calling men he's no good because he won't hang in there for your tough times. No. Let's be emotionally balanced. Because women, you say this in a minute. You will say this in a minute. Don't bring that nonsense to me, brother. You better come healed. Well, guess what, men? The same way a woman would say to you that you better come healed and don't bring that nonsense in her life. Guess what? Don't let a woman do it to you. Don't let a woman, don't see, that's the emotional inequality of relationships. Where a woman can say, I ain't letting no man bring no nonsense in my life. But yet a woman will believe that it's her right to bring nonsense into yours. And because you're a man, you're supposed to heal it. That's chaotic thinking. There is such thing as toxic femininity. And I'm going to bring it to you from the scriptures so that nobody can deny it. That we can't even say, oh, well, Christian, he just on here attacking. I'm not attacking. If I was an attacking person, I would have, like a lot of these other clown YouTube guys out here, I would have a male podcast that just dog women. Because that's easy. And I can make a lot of money. But I'm not doing that. I'm bringing you truth that can help us get where we got to go. Let me see. A lot of men and women are being deceived rather than thinking for themselves. Yes. What love is to yourself and should I say for yours? Yes. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of the manipulation is being, a lot of the manipulation that's going on, right, is because we're learning bad lessons, especially from these here internet streets. Let me see. Yes, we are sometimes in our own way. Yes, ladies, a lot of times you're in your own way. A lot of times you are absolutely in your own way. Yes, you are. Right? And you play the blame game, ladies. You play the blame game. You do two things. You play the blame game or you make every man carry the bag of the last man you dated. You will be single, sister. You will be single until you recognize the toxic traits that are in you. It's easy to point out all the toxic traits in a man. It's easy to say men ain't nothing. Don't try to convince me that every man you dated was trash, sister. Don't try to convince me that. And men don't believe that. And when a woman comes to you, you date a new woman, a lot of times the woman wants to tell you that every man she ever dated was trash. And oh my God, I'm glad she's so glad she found a good man in you. Let me tell you something, gentlemen. If a woman comes to you and tell you every man she dated was trash, she's lying to you and you're being set up for the biggest fall that you ever had in your life. Because what you're not realizing is that toxicity is about to come your way. See, that's why we need vulnerability. Any woman who would tell you that every man was wrong, she's not being vulnerable. You understand? See, this is a trick. It's a trick. Men need to talk more. Men need to be vulnerable. Men need to be more open. No, a woman will hide the truth behind a lie in a minute, bro. Huh? A woman will hide the truth behind a lie in a minute. Yes, she will. To cover herself. Yes, she will. Yes, she will. Let me see. A lot of men and women are being, okay. I'm sorry, but I thought I read that. Okay. Yes. Amen. All right, let's get back into it. Y'all keep on flowing. I'll come back to the chat. And some of you that need dear brother advice, let me pop it up now so y'all can see it. Pop it in the chat, and I will before the end of the show, I'll give you advice about relationship. Listen, ladies, don't stay in bad situations, right? And brothers, you don't stay in bad situations. You don't owe anybody that kind of thing. All right. So if you need advice, throw it in the chat and I'll get to it, before I end the show today. All right. Here we go. Let's get back into it. And so again, Eve, I believe that Eve, she took that fruit and she brought it home. Right. Listen, ladies, some gentlemen, there are women who will talk to girlfriends who never had nobody and bring that fruit back to you. And men, you gotta have enough discernment to know, like, hold on, man, where's this coming from? I wonder, I'm gonna get into this today, man. I wonder if Adam ever paused to say, where'd she get this fruit from? Ooh wee. I wonder if Adam ever paused to say, yo, where did you get this fruit from? Right? That's for you brothers. That's for you brothers. That's for you brothers out here who fall into these traps with toxic females. And then you say, oh, I never knew she was like that. You never asked, bro. You were so intoxicated by her beauty. And we're going to get into this a little later. You are so intoxicated by her beauty. You're so intoxicated by her look. You get so intoxicated by her words that you don't even ask, where'd you get that fruit from? Where's that from? Who are you talking to? Right? Where'd you get that mindset from? Right? There's a lot of women, their last dude they dated was like a serpent. You know where she gets that fruit from? She brought it from her last relationships. She asking you, here, eat this. No, I'm not. Right? You see, it's not about getting rid of that woman that brings fruit, because a woman that brings fruit doesn't mean she's toxic. It means that she had a toxic relationship or a toxic conversation, and this fruit is in her hand. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of her. Sometimes it means you got to help her get that fruit out of her hand if you're going to be with her, right? Now, I'm going to tell you, at my age and stage in my life, I'm not helping any woman get the fruit out of her hand. Me. This is just me, okay? Because I've taken fruit out of... I've taken the forbidden fruit, man, and almost lost my whole mind, life, and everything, right? So at this point, I know, right? So the point I'm making is there's some women that you got to leave her and that fruit alone. You got to know the difference. Some women been carrying that fruit all their life, right? She's going to take that fruit into any relationship she's ever going to go in. You have to totally leave her alone. There are some women that want to be better and don't even know they're carrying it. That woman you can love. Right? But you got to be careful. You got to be balanced, because if that woman's holding that fruit so tightly, she doesn't want to let it go. And if you don't let her go, you're going to eat that fruit and ruin your life. Right? And the question is that some ladies, you got to ask yourself, why am I carrying this? Where did I get it from? Right? You can't keep on blaming the next man for the fruit you carry, sister. You can't keep on doing that. And you can't keep on making men the enemy. Sometimes you got to see the enemy within yourself, sister. You got to see the sabotage within yourself, my sister. You got to see the times you met a great man and you were scared to be healthy, so you brought unhealthy fruit. Oh, man, let me take a... Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. And neither one of us will heal each other, right? We'll do more damage to each other. Now, can this work? Yeah, it can work if the couples are willing to sit down and be fully vulnerable about what has happened to them, right? I was telling my lady a very vulnerable thing that happened to me in my last relationship the other day. I had never said it before, right? I had never said it before, but she understood something about me in that moment. See, the only way you can heal each other is to be open to each other. The problem is we're not open to each other. We just bring this stuff to each other's lives and we like, look, you heal me. It don't work. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Am I back on? Let me see. Can y'all hear me? Let me know you can hear me. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry, y'all. If you can still hear me, let me know you can hear me. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened here. Goodness gracious. Audio. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let me know you can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me now? Okay. 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 All right. Let me go back to Toya's. All right. This is where I don't know if y'all can hear me on this one, but I was reading Toya's Good Day Christian, who's being toxic. Y'all, women are being toxic. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I think you should be able to work together. Okay. Now y'all can hear me. I can go back to this. I think you should be able to work together to help one another heal if that's the relationship you choose to be in. Okay. This is the problem with that, sis. The problem with helping two broken people trying to help each other heal is that most time it won't happen because there's another factor that you need to make that happen. The other factor you need to make that happen is you need the two people that are broken to be completely honest about what broke them, right? To be completely honest about what broke them and then have that conversation. Two broken people most times aren't willing to have that conversation. They just want you to know, look, I'm hurt and I don't want you to hurt me no more. I'm hurt and I don't want to be hurt by you because I've been hurt by them, right? That's the conversation. So you have two people walking on eggshells trying not to hurt each other and they don't even know what hurts, right? That's the danger of playing that game. So most times if two broken people come together, there will be no healing unless there's openness. And most times people don't want to be that open because people don't enter relationships to love the other person. Most times we enter relationships to get healed from what happened to us in the past. And that's not fair to the person that's in your future. Let me see. Yes, men and women are very scared. Very scared. I agree. Let me see. The healed version of me did only date poorly suited men because the unhealed version of me, I'm sorry, dated poorly suited men because I didn't know any better. Yes. So yeah, the few guys I dated were toxic because I chose based on my father wounds. Yes. Okay. See, Toya, that last sentence really is what seals it in. You can identify where it came from, right? You can identify it from where it came from. It's a lot in your message. Let me read it again. The unhealed version of me I only dated poorly suited men because I didn't know any better. Yes, you didn't know any better. So let me ask you, Toya, now that you found out, is it different for you now? Right? And let me ask you, those five, let's go deeper. Let's not even ask you about who you dated. Let's not worry about who you dated. How did that father wound affect you, Toya? Like specifically, how did it affect your choosing? Talk to me, sister. Let me see. We have to take accountability sometimes looking in the mirror and asking yourself what part of, yes. And I don't think, listen, sister, I don't think that happens enough. I'm not a woman. I'll never claim to be a woman, but I don't think that happens enough. I've counseled enough women. I think that a lot of times, women won't admit wrong because there's a fear of showing flaw. I'm going to tell y'all a story time. My father said to my mother, I was about 10, maybe 10, 9 or 10. And I asked my dad said to my mom, that was like having a little debate. And I was in the other room, but I heard my dad say to my mom, Sandra, are you ever wrong about anything? Do you have any flaws or is it just me? I want to let y'all sit with that for a minute. I'm going to let y'all sit with that for a minute. right? He asked her, is it just me? Am I the only one? See, ladies, y'all have a way of making men feel like, and I'm going to talk about this. I got to get in my notes. Because I really got some stuff to share with y'all. But y'all have a way of making men feel like they're the only one that has a problem. He's the one that has the problem to fix. Let me tell y'all what happens to a man that feels like he's the only one that has the problem to fix. Eventually, he will get tired and leave you. Eventually, he'll get tired and leave you, or eventually he'll get tired and emotionally he'll connect with another woman who won't make him feel like he's always climbing a mountain. At some point, the part of toxic femininity is women's inability to admit wrong, to admit flaw. I don't get quiet because I don't know what else to say, y'all. I get quiet because these are the conversations that are not being had. They're not being had. They're not being had. And again, if you're taking this personally, take it spiritually, sister. Take it spiritually. Because understand, this didn't start with you. This started with a serpent. This started with a conversation. It started with Eve. It started with a fruit. And it started with a man who couldn't control himself. We're dealing with the same battle, y'all, that was in the Garden of Eden. That's why I'm trying to wake you up spiritually. For some of you who are spiritual people, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? But spirits, principalities in high places. It's a spiritual battle, right? And the problem why we get so offended at each other and we get to fighting and tussling is because look at the enemy. The enemy's sitting back giggling. He's sitting back giggling at men and women hating each other because he knows that's going to produce a lot of screwed up generations. He's sitting back laughing because instead of pointing at him and knowing what he did, we're pointing at each other, talking about what you need to do. We are not each other's enemy. We have an enemy that's against the flourishing of the family. And until we recognize that enemy, we'll fight each other and wind up tearing down generation after generation. All right, let me get to this last one, and then I keep on talking in the chat, y'all. I'll come back for the advice and everything. I'm gonna take this one right now before I go back in my notes. My father wounds has had an effect on me all my life, okay? Because of narcissistic abuse. I'm so sorry, sister. Toy, I'm sorry, sister. Oh, I'm sorry, because I know what that feels like. Not from my father, but from somebody I was with. I know what narcissistic abuse feels like, sister. And I'm a pause for the cause. I'm a pause right there, sis. Because that's nothing easy. That's nothing easy, y'all. That's nothing easy to face. Narcissistic abuse is nothing easy to face. And somebody will say, well, Christian, abuse is abuse. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Abuse is not abuse. Narcissistic abuse is different because the narcissist justifies their abuse. The narcissist is almost like a cat playing with a dead mouse. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop until you break away. They'll never let you go. I've been there, sis. I understand it. And guess what? Guess what, Toy? It wasn't a father wound. A woman did that to me. A woman was my narcissistic abuser. I was used to the dysfunction of my father's behavior, like a tyrannical, temperamental toddler. And I repressed that pain, yes. And you wind up choosing it again. I get it. Again, remember what we talking about, sister? The stuff that we don't confront, we wind up being right back in. I'm so sorry that happened to you, but I'm so happy that you're here to talk about it. Because a lot of people, Toy, they don't make it out of that. So I'm very, very proud of you, sister. Very, very proud of you. You repressed it until you couldn't anymore. Yes. Yes. Let me see. Oh, wait, I think I missed something up here. Let me go back. I think I missed. Y'all talking today. I missed something a little bit. Let me see. Okay. Tamika, two toxic people trying to heal will form a trauma bond. Yes. Yes. Trauma bond. Y'all know what a trauma bond is? Tamika, that was your point. So jump back in. Tell us what a trauma bond is. I ain't gonna tell us. You tell us. What's a trauma bond in your opinion? Let's talk about that. Put that back up there, Tamika, if you're still on. Okay. Let me see. This is exactly what I stated in the comment. Yes. My father wound. Okay, we read that. Okay, sorry. Let me see. Tell B. I learned from my hurt that you want to. I'm sorry. I learned from my hurt that you have to want to be healed for yourself. Yes. And again, unlearn some things. Learn from things like not having a father. I can only speak for myself. Yes. Yes. But see, this is the thing. This is the thing, y'all. You got to be willing to admit this to the right man, right? To the right man. I'm not talking about the wrong dude who's going to take your pain and abuse you with it. But you got to be willing to admit these type of things, these father wounds. You got to be willing to admit that to the right man, because if you don't admit that to the right man, you'll wind up abusing him, right? You'll wind up abusing him, right? Because what you're trying to do is stop him from abusing you, and the abuse is not coming from him. See, this is where toxic femininity comes in. You become the abuser trying to not get abused. Let me see. All right, let me get back to my notes, y'all, and I'll come right back. All right. So let's talk about examples of toxic femininity, right? The examples of toxic femininity are manipulation through vulnerability, right? It means that, gentlemen, it means when for men, it means that when a woman sucks you in, right, to be vulnerable, then to use your vulnerability against you, right? It's to use your emotions to control you, right? I'm going to control you because I know your story. I'm never going to quite tell you mine, so that I'm always in control of relationship. And this is where that comes from, gentlemen. A lot of women become toxic because they were treated in a toxic way. And so now they're going to take out on you what they couldn't control in somebody else. Understand that. That's where women become abusive. Right? That's where women become abusive. It's a situation she couldn't control, whether it was with her father, whether it was her ex, or some man she really loved. And her goal now is not just love, right? Her goal now is love, but I'm also going to control him so that he can never take his love away. A lot of women who've been walked away from, a lot of women who men just left them, a lot of women who've been ghosted and felt like she had an investment. Her goal now is not to hurt men. Her goal is not to hurt men, even though she will. Her goal is not to hurt men. Her goal is to control love. And eventually that becomes a sickness and becomes toxic. And she begins to manipulate, right? This is another example of toxic femininity. I'm going to withhold affection, right? We're not talking about X. I ain't talking about X yet, right? She's going to, because let me tell you something. Gentlemen, a woman who would hold affection back from you, that's worse than withholding X from you. Ooh, I'm cooking, y'all. Huh? A woman cannot have X with you. Right? But a woman who will withhold affection, that's worse. Right? She's not going to tell you you look good. She's not going to tell you you smell good. She's not going to sit down next to you. She's not going to rub your head. Why? Because she always wants you in a place of chasing. See, rubbing your head or sitting next to you or rubbing your shoulder as a man, when a woman does that, right, it relaxes you. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel like you're okay. It's like I don't want to make us like dogs, but it's like when you pat a dog on the head and say, good boy, it makes him feel valuable. There's certain women who will never celebrate you because she does not want you to feel good about yourself. Why? Because that's her tool to keep you in your seat. Her tool is to make you feel not valuable so that you'll keep on chasing, trying to find your value in her, and she'll keep on pushing you back or making you chase her. That's control. You know, and then some women will say, I just want him to pursue me. No, you're trying to control him. It's like a leash. Buddy. Huh? Withholding affection, controlling people, right? Withholding love, withholding validation, right? Won't listen to your dreams. She got something else to do, right? Oh, yeah, I hear you. Oh, that's nice. That means she won't invest in your thinking. She's not interested in your interest. You understand? There's some toxic women out here that would do that to you, right? And guess what, ladies? Either you have done this or you know someone who does. But what we can't do today on this podcast, or not on this one, we can do it on other podcasts where it's about attacking people. But on this one, it's a vulnerable podcast where we look for healing. So ladies, I don't want you to sit here like, oh, that's not me. If it's not you, it's somebody, right? Because I'm going to tell you, this is another thing about the toxic conversation with women, right? It gets toxic because is what women do in conversations like this is they make it so personal to make it not true. So anything I'm saying right now or anything a man would say to a woman, she will say, oh, I don't do that. But 15 of your girlfriends do. See, that's toxic. That's narcissism. That's narcissism. That's trying to squash a point that a man is making because you don't do it. But you know people who do. So admit that. See, there needs to be more honest conversation in relationship from ladies. Let me jump in this chat. I know somebody, man, I'm probably gonna have one person left on this joint. Let me see. Okay, man, y'all been talking. Okay, let me see. I learned from the okay. My issue has been, okay, let me see. My issue has been trying to help a man heal while I'm broken myself. All right. Hey, listen to this. Listen to this, sister. When God created a man, Eve was not there. When God created a man, Eve was not there. God made man. See, this is the problem with you sisters. A lot of y'all believe that you can make a man. Only God can make a man. You can't. If Eve was part of making man, or Eve was part of healing man, if Eve was part of building man, she would have been there when God made him. Adam was there with God by himself. In fact, he didn't even bring Eve until Adam had it together. It is never your responsibility. It is never even in your power to heal a man. You can't heal a man. You can be there with him. You can love him, but you can't heal him. That's a trick, ladies, you get caught up in. Let me see. I've learned from my hurt that you have to want to be. Okay, I'm sorry. I read that. Okay. Yes, trying to get free from a narcissist. Listen. Let me tell y'all something about narcissistic abuse. And if Toya's in here, Toya will tell you. You can't try to get free from narcissistic abuse. You have to walk away from narcissistic abuse. And Toya can tell you because she's been through it. I'm telling you because I've been through it with a woman. I want to let y'all know that. I'm going to keep on saying that. The worst abuse I've ever encountered emotionally in my life was from a woman. I couldn't believe. Ground me down to powder. Right? That's not something that you can try to get away from, sister. You have to escape narcissism and never go back. Let me see. Okay. Narc abuse is very real, and I'm still overcoming it. Yes, narc abuse from my mother too. Okay, she's thank you for your compassion, y'all. Toya. All right, I'm dear brother, sis. That's what I'm here for. Thank you for sharing it, man. Thank you for trusting me enough to share it on my show. Let me say that. Yes, I am absolutely compassionate. Yes. Ugh. We with you, sis. We are with you. You're not by yourself. Let me see. I'm trying to cook. I ain't even halfway through it. I think this show might go 2 hours. If I got to be on by myself, I'm cooking today. Let me see. All right. Tamika's back. Okay. A trauma bond is when people form a codependent relationship around their unhealed wound. A narrative of their traumatic past becomes the only narrative of their relationship, aka struggle love. Let me read that again. That's solid. A trauma bond is when people form a codependent relationship around their unhealed wounds. Let me tell you something, sisters. Before we even get into relationships, before we talk about male-female relationships, I'm going to bring this back up Because a lot of some of your biggest problem, ladies, is you have formed trauma bonds with other women and y'all wallow in your pain. Some of you ladies, your biggest problem is not a man. Your biggest problem is that your friends are toxic females. Uh-oh. No such thing as toxic femininity. She's just a manipulative. I disagree, Rich. Keep on listening to the show. I'm gonna show you what absolutely is toxic femininity, my brother. Yes, it's absolute. It's not just manipulative. Toxic. A woman will kill you emotionally, take you down, and look at you like a dirty dog. I'm about to show you. I'm gonna show it to you in the scripture too, Rich. It is, bro. I'm telling you. Their healing. Let me see. Their healing is hindered because it jeopardizes the foundation of the relationship. So they both remain committed to yes. And anytime you get two people in a room that have wounds, you know what happened? Infection. You're speaking to me about what I've allowed a narcissist man to do to me, and it's time for me to be yes. But this is the thing. This is the thing I want you to know, sister. It's not just time for you to be healed. It's time for you to walk away. You won't be healed until you walk away, like 100%. See, I agree that there's a tinging on narcissism because women are evading accountability, pretending to be oblivious. Yes. You know why? Because a lot of women claim I'm so in tune. Ain't nobody gonna trick me. Please. I see a man a mile away. I know what. No. I know what. How are you so perceptive about men, but you're not perceptive about your own ills? It's just like a prophet in a church who can see everything but their own sin. That's how a lot of women are. You can see everything broken around you, but you can't see yours. You can see every flaw in everybody around you, but you can't see yours. Right? It's not fair to a man to have a big break in your life and have him searching around for what's wrong with him. That's toxic femininity. See what I'm saying, Rich? If you're still on, this is what I'm talking about. And these ladies on here, ladies, if y'all agree with me, because look, I'm just a guy telling Rich that there is such thing as toxic femininity. Ladies, if you think there's such thing as toxic femininity, put it in the chat. Let Rich know. So as a lady, if there's such thing as toxic femininity, please tell Rich, yes, it is such thing. So he can hear it from a lady. So he can believe me. Right? Let me see. We got some advice for you. We got some advice for you, Tell B. All right, Tell. Tamika got some advice for you. Stop blaming yourself, Tell. It's not your fault. The primary tool of the narcissist is to make you believe that their behavior is your fault. Let me read it again. Stop blaming yourself, Tell. It's not your fault. The primary tool of the narcissist is to make you believe their behavior is your fault. That's why you have to escape. You can't work your way out from a narcissist. You got to escape narcissism. Let's get back into these notes, okay? Right? So, where was I? Okay. We were defining, examples of toxic femininity. Nurturing an agenda. Nurturing an agenda is toxic femininity. Helping a man or only giving to him, expecting something in return, right? Holding power over him, right? This is where a lot of women go. You help a man build something. You don't forget I helped you build that. Who you ain't had nothing before I came, right? I'm going to nurture you with an agenda. I'm not nurturing you because I want what's best for you. I'm nurturing an agenda. I'm doing this so at some point you can owe me. That's toxic femininity, right? That's toxic femininity, right? This is one thing I counseled a brother years ago, and one of his biggest frustrations was when his wife would say, "But I'm your wife. I'm your wife." She would do all kinds of nasty stuff to him and tell him, "But I'm your wife." And I told him one time in counseling, I said, when she says she's your wife, remind her that the thing she's doing is not how a wife acts. So you can't do what you want to do to a man and then stand on what the relationship is. No, You understand? You can't bring nastiness and tell him, but I'm your wife. No, you got to act like that. So it's the same way with a husband to say, you gonna respect me because I'm your husband. Well, bro, you got to act like that. You know, you got to act like that. All right. Gossip, feminine, toxic femininity, gossip. Gossip, you sit around and you talk and you talk and you talk and you talk and you talk. You fill your mind with all kinds of trash. You fill your mind with all kinds of bad advice from broken women, and then you come back to your man. Listen, sis, you're about to ruin your relationship with your girlfriend's advice. Come on. Right? Now let me give y'all some scriptures about toxic femininity. Let me show y'all, because there's 3 different women that the scriptures and Proverbs talked about. I wrote a book, brothers. I got a new book coming out for y'all where it's a journal book that I broke down all the male principles in the book of Proverbs. It's coming out on my birthday, December 7th. All right, I'm gonna drop that on my birthday. Here, scriptures about certain women. Proverbs talks about 3 kinds of toxic women. Proverbs 5 verse 3 through 5 warns about the forbidden woman. So it's 3 different women he talks about: the forbidden woman, the adulterous woman, and the unfaithful woman, right? It talks about, warns against the forbidden woman whose words are sweet like honey, but whose intentions lead to bitterness and death, right? Her words are like sweet like honey, right? But her intentions lead to bitterness and death. That's the woman who will talk you out of your dreams, my brother. It's the woman that will make herself the only thing that matters. Where this is the woman that becomes jealous of your passion. This is the woman that becomes jealous of the things you dream about. This is the woman that wants to be the only thing that exists in your life. She is toxic, my man. She is toxic. The woman who she's sitting there and she doesn't care what else you care about. That's not partnership. She doesn't want a relationship. She wants worship. You got to run from that woman. Yes? For the lips of the forbidden woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as a wormwood. Huh? Yeah, y'all. Yeah, there's such thing as toxic femininity. That's the forbidden woman. You're forbidden to go near her. Her words will suck you in and spit you out with less than you had when she met you. Y'all hear me, right? The scriptures talks about this woman who makes her face. It talks about Jezebel, who would make her face. What Jezebel isn't just about a woman who wants to have sex with you. No. Jezebel is a spirit. Jezebel is the one who will present the perfect face to you. Present the perfect face to you. Present that she is the answer to your troubles, my man. Only to pull you in. It's what back in the 80s they would call a man killer. Huh? Suck you in. But this is the thing. Her arms, it says her arms wave above the earth looking for good men. But those good men see her arms waving, but they don't see that her feet are tied in the bowels of hell. Don't tell me there's not such thing as a toxic woman. Even the Bible says it is. Right? The next one Proverbs 7 describes the adulterous woman whose smooth words in the Lord lead men astray. Yeah? Take you off course, right? Takes you off course. Her persuasive words lead you to destruction. Yeah? She seduces you, right? She seduces you. She seduces you out of your concern for yourself. She convinces you that you no longer have to care for you. She will care for you. That's how Solomon laid down in the lap of Delilah and came up bald. She convinced him. She convinced him that he no longer had to care for his strength or make sure he had it. She discovered that his strength was in his hair, and she cut him bald, and then she watched him go fight a battle the next day with no strength. That's a toxic woman. It's the woman who will start an argument with you right before something important that you're about to do. Yeah? It's the woman who knows that you're about to go into something great. So because she doesn't feel like she's the primary thing in your life at the moment, she will try to throw salt in your game to take you off course from what she knows you love. That's the toxic woman. Proverbs 6 talks about the last one. It cautions you against the allure of the unfaithful woman. Do not lust in your heart after her beauty, and let her captivate you with her eyes. She is the woman that will lock you in, but it's going to be with other men, bro. She's the woman who needs attention. She needs attention. Her lust, her fuel is attention. I remember Stephen Curry's wife, the basketball player in Golden State. Now, I'm not putting her business out there. This is internet business. I don't know anything about these people. This is what she put out herself. She said one time, at times I get upset that men aren't in my inbox, talking to me in my inbox. She's married to one of the top 5 superstars in NBA history, right? He's fronted all her businesses and anything else she wanted to do. He supported her. And she got on a television show and said out of her own mouth, sometimes I get, no men aren't DMing me. And the lady asked, well, why would you want that? She says, just for attention, to know I still got it. Come on, Rich Sosa, if you're still in the building, bro. Is that not toxic? Let me go in the chat, because then I got one more piece. The last piece I'm going to tell y'all is how toxic femininity affects men. Let me get back in the chat. Let me see. Okay. Yes, the toxic. Let me see. Yes, that wife is toxic, possibly. But I'm your mother is what I always heard. See? But I'm your wife, but I'm your mother, but I'm your father, right? I'm your brother, right? It's when you lean into the relationship to justify that you're toxic. I want you to lean into who I am so you don't see what I'm doing. I want you to lean into who I am so you don't see what I'm doing to you. It's the biggest trick, and it's torn up plenty of lives. Let me see. Toxic femininity is real. That's a sister talking there. Let me see. I'm sorry, I missed some stuff up here. Let me go back. I missed some stuff. Y'all been talking. Let me see. Let me go back to this. Tell B said, thanks, Tamika. That's sister talk right there. I love to see that. That's what this podcast is about. It's about healing, confrontation and healing. See, Rich, I know plenty of toxic women. Let me see. I just agree with you, Christian. I agree again. Yes, we women can be toxic, and we know how to use our femininity to do it. Absolutely. Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister. My man, Rich Sosa, just because a woman validates your argument, I'm supposed to believe it. I just don't believe in the concept of toxic femininity or masculinity. Okay, bro. That's because guess what? Listen. We can disagree, right? That don't stop you from being my brother. That's what it is. That we're not always going to agree. But this is the thing, Rich. Tell me why. Tell me why you don't believe in it. Yeah, right. And listen, bro. I didn't ask women to validate anything. The point is, they're women, and if women are saying they can be toxic, then that's the reason I wanted to get them to talk to you. Because if all these women are saying yes, they've been toxic, they know how to use their femininity to be toxic, then, I mean, I think that should hold some credence. But even if it doesn't, all opinions are welcome here, my man. Tell me why you don't believe in it, because I want to learn from you, man. Let me see. Yes. Okay, I'll write that one. Okay. Corrupted one. Okay, so Rich, is the word corrupted, you think, is it better than toxic? Educate me, bro. Help me grow, man. I'm on here teaching. If you got something that can help me think clearer, bro, please share it with me. Thanks, Rich. Man eater. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Man eater. Shoot, I met some men killers. One of my ex was a man killer. She wasn't an eater. She was gonna kill me. That's what I meant when I said men and women are scared. I do believe women are narcissists. Oh, look, I'm gonna make this point, and this is where y'all gonna get mad at me, and it's okay. I believe, my personal opinion, I personally believe that toxic femininity is more dangerous than toxic masculinity, emotionally, right? Because a man doesn't really, unless he's a flat out narcissist, he doesn't really know how to manipulate with words. Men try to control with what they do, or lead a house or things like that. But a woman will sit. It's like a boxer, right? A man, he box from outside because he don't want to get hit. A woman to get right inside of you and tear your insides up. Next thing you know, you feel worthless, like trash. You want to sleep in the street. A woman knows how to tear you down piece by piece by piece. And you know what that is? That's the gift of seduction, inverted by the serpent. Let me see. That's what okay. I think a lot of men are broken as well. I think a lot of women are broken as well. A lot of men are broken as well from women's abuse. Yes, I've been broken from a woman's abuse. Yes. One time, I'm going to tell y'all, this is the most vulnerable thing. I'm going to tell y'all. I don't know if I ever told somebody this. I looked in that woman's eyes one day. I looked dead in her eyes one day. A full grown man. I've been around the world. I done paid bribes to get through Nigeria. I done been in leprosy colonies. I done fought my way through India to do ministry, all kinds of stuff. I looked that woman in her eyes one day and said, I am afraid of you. I couldn't even believe it was coming out of my mouth, but I was so broken that I had to say it like, yo, I'm afraid of you, right? Not that she would do harm, like stab me or nothing, but I knew that there was always a way for her to crack me somehow. No matter what, she just knew how to break me. Yes. Let me see. Yeah, was a bird for saying that publicly. A bird, that's old school. Yeah, she said she definitely was a bird for saying that publicly. You remember that, Toya? That's crazy. That's crazy. And let me say this. Here's the emotional inequality between men and women. Stephen Curry's wife can get on TV and say, I wish that I had men in my inbox. And as wrong as it is, people would seek to understand it from an emotional place. Oh, well, maybe she felt like this, or maybe she was trying to say this. If a married man say, I wish more women were in my inbox, he would be thrown off a cliff, and y'all know it. It's emotional inequality. Women are able to get away with the most treacherous things, cover it under emotional brokenness, and people try to understand her. Whereas if a man said the same thing, he would be destroyed. Let me see. Yes, we will and can. That's why I don't like tapping into my dark shadow side. Yes, every woman has a dark shadow side, right? Right? It's the dark shadow. This is the thing. Every woman is born with the gift of seduction. Either she submits it to God or she submits it to Satan. That's the dark side, right? Every man has the ability. Adam had the ability to what? Use his words to name a woman. Let me take this down so y'all can see what I'm saying. Think about it. Adam used his words to name a woman. Eve didn't have a name. He used his words. Your name is Eve. He gave her identity, right? That power, either he submits it to God to name a woman and build her up, or he has the power to submit his word and tear her completely down. It's all about who he submits that power to. Let me see. All right, my man Rich in the building. I think people are corrupted due to influence. Okay. Aisha Curry is on social media with other people who are getting hearts, eyes, and DMs. Even her husband get it. Every woman wants validation. Yes. But is that toxic? Or is that corrupt? Is that corrupt, you think, Rich, for her to say, being a married woman on national TV, that she wants other men in her inbox? Like, I know every woman wants validation, but is that wrong? Is that the way she went about it? Is that wrong? Let me see. That goes both ways. I'm sorry, Miss Kennedy. What goes both ways? So I can know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, let me see. All right, I want to talk about now. Y'all keep on chatting. I'll come back to the chat. In fact, I see somebody just jumped in there. Okay. So, okay. All right. Okay, Rich. So that, okay. So Rich, are we more disagreeing on the toxic versus corrupt? Is that where our disagreement is? Is the word that we're using there? Educate me, brother. And thank you, bro. Thank you for sharing, man. I really appreciate it. This is what I love. Let me see. There's a double standard when it comes to men as well. Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. 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 If a woman cheats, right? It was because it was a need that wasn't getting fulfilled. And she just, and I just was lacking this. So it's not that I don't love you. I do love you. I was just lacking this thing, and I just don't know what happened. And honey, it will never happen again. Right? If a man cheats, ain't no excuse, ain't nothing, how dare you, A man can't come and say, but I was missing something. He would get trashed. That's called toxic femininity, where you can cover your worst inhibitions behind a wall of emotions. Yes, y'all do, Toya. Come on, and don't get in here. We've been telling truth all morning. What time is it? I started this show at 6 o'clock. It is now 7:21. We've been in here an hour and a half now, Toya. Yes, y'all do. Let me see. Rich Sosa in the building saying a person is toxic is fine. I'm with that. It's when it's associated with femininity and masculinity. See, well, Rich, let me say this point, because I feel you. Saying a person is toxic is fine. I'm with that. Okay. When it comes to associated, it's when it's associated with femininity and masculine. Well, this is the thing. Let's go back. Let me go to my notes back here, so we can have a better discussion on this, Rich. This was the definition that I believe. Toxic femininity is when you use traditional feminine traits to manipulate, control, and harm. Right? So femininity is a gift. It is her difference from a man. Masculinity is a gift. It is our difference from a woman. These are gifts that we use to heal each other. I can use my masculinity to heal her femininity. She can use her femininity to heal my masculinity. I think it becomes toxic masculinity and femininity when I use the same thing I can heal. Now I'm going to use it to hurt. I think that's the point I'm trying to make, Rich. It's like with like I used the example with the water. This water, I'm drinking it right now, right? It can help my kidneys, it can help my organs, it can help my body. Or somebody can take my face and hold it in this water and drown me. It's not the water, right? It's nothing wrong with femininity or toxic or masculinity. It's something wrong when I take this and I do harm with it. That's the point I'm making. Let me see. Killing an animal today is toxic masculinity. But back then, killing an animal, you used to be revered as a. See, now I don't think hunting is toxic masculinity, Rich. I think that we're seeing this. I think we're seeing masculinity and femininity a little different. I'm looking at it on a deeper scale. Like hunting is not toxic masculinity. People have made it that. See, that's the thing. I mentioned this earlier, Rich. I don't know if you were on the show earlier. I was saying a lot of people, this term toxic masculinity came out. And I think that women made up this term called toxic masculinity, or came up or drive this term, right? But it wasn't driven off of a real definition. It was driven off of a man who made her mad, or a man who challenged her point, right? I think a lot of women came up with this, he's a toxic man. He's a toxic man because he disagreed with you. He's a toxic man because he checked you. He's a toxic man because you've never been checked by a man, or you've never been challenged by a man. And so the first time you ever get challenged by a man, that's toxic. I'm saying that I hate the term toxic masculinity because of how it's been used. But I can't say that the term toxic masculinity is not real. I can't say that. In my opinion, I can't say that it's not real. I think it's been used wrong. right? Just like a man who would say, oh, she's being toxic because she won't have X with me. That don't make her toxic, right? That doesn't make her toxic. So I think that we haven't defined it right. We haven't. That's a good point though, Rich. That makes me see exactly what you're saying though. Thank you, bro. Let me see. I don't get the nuance or semantics that play with feminine toxicity. I don't think okay. Yeah, I understand where Rich is coming from though. Let me see. Toya, I get it. I just against the association. Okay, yeah. I see exactly where Rich is coming from. Because Rich is saying what I see where you at, Rich. I get it. I get where you at. Let me see. For example, I like dominant men, but a toxic man may view that as control. That's toxic masculinity. Let me see. For example, I like dominant men, but a toxic man. Yes. That's a very good point. Yes. A dominant man is not a toxic man until he becomes toxic, right? Yes, you can be a dominant man and not be toxic because man was made to take dominion, right? Man was made to be in dominion, right? To dominate, and dominate is not a bad word. See, again, I think it comes back to this. It comes back to you could drink water or drown in it. You can cook on fire or burn down a house. I think it's all about the hands you put it in. So for example, look at Eve, right? Eve had the ability to, when she walked before Adam looked at her and said, oh my God, he was crushed. Oh my God, bone in my bone, flesh in my flesh. I could imagine, right? You looking around the garden, seeing all these animals, and then all of a sudden you see yourself in another form. He was done. He was done, right? He was done. He was cooked as soon as he met her. But what happened? That place where she can have that man just fall apart over her, she took that and she had a conversation with the serpent. She used the good thing that she had and she submitted it to Satan. Once Satan got a hold of her, once Satan got a hold of that gift of that gift to seduce man, he turned it into manipulation. And she went back, right? It's all about who you submit it to. Let me see. Okay. Tori says she got you. Okay. Let me see. My man Rich, what's wrong with control? See what I'm saying? When was control been bad for a man? This is the thing, Rich. I'm gonna keep on repeating it. Water is not bad for my body until I stick my face in it and try to drown myself. See, it's all about the person, Rich. It's not about the concept. I think you're taking the concept and you're spreading the concept across the whole board. It's not across the whole board. It's about, again, it's about whose hand it's in. If I'm a corrupt man, I'm going to use my power from God as a man. Let's just take it out of relationship. Let's take it out of relationship. Let's take it into politics, right? If I'm the president of the United States, I have control, right? We have a presidential election coming up, right? If I'm the president of the United States, I can have control. I can be in control, right? But it depends on what kind of man I am, right? I can either control things to make the country better, or I can control things to make the country horrible. That's all about what's in me, right? So is being president wrong? Is being the strongest man or woman in the world wrong? No. It's about who's sitting in that seat that makes it wrong or right. Yeah. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with control, Rich. It's about who has the gear in their hand. What are you going to do with that control? Right? Yes, the context and how you view it. Absolutely. All right, let me get back to my notes. This is the last part. I want to show y'all the effects of toxic femininity. You know what? Because I respect Rich. There's one scripture. There's one scripture I always held very close to me. And that scripture I always held close to me. No words matter. Presidents have no control because we are a democracy. Okay, Rich, I ain't gonna argue that with you, bro. I ain't gonna argue that with you. Because I can walk down the list and tell you about presidential control. Okay? I can walk down the list and tell you about presidential control. I'll give you an example, Rich. And I'll get back. I don't want to get into politics, but since you made this point, I want to make this point. No words matter. Presidents have no control because we're in democracy. We're not in a democracy, sir. We're not in a democracy. We're not in a democracy. Be real. Again, I'm not going to get into it because I study politics. I don't get involved in it, but I study it because I got to talk to the world and I got to talk to the world issues. Yeah. But let's be real. Let's be real. A president right now. I don't want to get into this. I don't want to get into it. But I'll give you an example. Here it is. Y'all remember? Y'all know the country that Haiti. Y'all know Haiti? Okay. Y'all know Haiti. Okay. Y'all know who controls Haiti? You know who controls Haiti right now? The Clinton family. Okay. So I'm gonna show y'all. I'm not about Democrat, Republican, none of that. I think it's all a lie in the game, and it does nothing for anybody. But y'all know Haiti, right? Haiti is under control of the Clinton family. You know who gave them the control over Haiti? Y'all do your study for yourself because I'm not turning this into a political podcast. But you do a little study on yourself on Haiti. You can go right on YouTube and look at the things. But their family takes all the money from Haiti and controls Haiti and keeps it poor for their riches because Haiti itself is rich. The people are poor, but Haiti itself is rich. President Barack Obama gave that power over Haiti to the Clintons, and the goal was for them to fund and rebuild it. Instead of funding it and rebuilding it, they're keeping it poor to this day, and everybody's making money off it, including President Clinton, including Hillary, including his daughter, including the uncle, including the family. You can't tell me presidents don't have power, Rich. That's not true. Of course, a dictator and a president are the same thing, Rich. I think you're being sucked in by the lie that the media and all that tells you about how we're so equal and we're so this and we're so that. And we're not. We're not equal. We're not none of that. They do what they want to do. And there's nothing you can do about it. So let me tell you this, Rich. I'll tell you this. So when it comes down to, again, let me get away from this subject. But let me tell you something else. No words matter. Presidents have no control. Okay, let me say this. If we were in a democracy, there's a lot of politicians that would be in jail. If I go outside right now, and I go to a store down the street and I steal a candy bar, I'm going to jail. There will be no conversation with the judge. There'll be no conversation with anybody. Anytime that world leaders can do crime at a highest level, and you can put me away for 20 years for something small, and somebody else gets to not show up for court or do what they want to do. Come on, bro. Be real with yourself. Yeah, we do. Yeah, listen, yes. Kim, look, all right, Rich. I'm not going to do this with you, bro. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get into this whole politic thing. But just wake up, bro. At some point, you're going to wake up and realize that we're all in a game. Okay? If this thing was real, this is the last thing I'm going to say on politics. I've studied political stuff back early into the 50s, into the 40s. If you ever study political concepts, you'll find out that the same issues that they're talking about in the 40s are they talking about today. In the 40s, they were talking about immigration. In the 40s, they were talking about prices. In the 40s, they were talking about all the issues they talk about today and they debate. They were talking about the same issues in the 40s. If this stuff was real, then it would be changed. We're all in the game. And I'm going to end it with this. In the Garden of Eden, there was no church. There was no mosque. There was no synagogue. There were no denominations. There was a man. There was his God and his family. There was no president in the Garden of Eden. There was no Congress. There was no none of that. Okay? So the fall of the family is what made need for all these other things. All right. Let me see. All right. So let me get off this president nonsense because I'm gonna tell y'all it's all a game. It's all a game, and we all get sucked into it. We all watch TV, and we somehow think that this stuff is going to change. I'm gonna tell you, the only thing you better do in these days is take care of your family. You better figure out how to work your own personal finance. You better figure out how to talk to your children. You better learn how to give your children, how to teach them how to think for themselves so they don't get all sucked in. Because I said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and this will be the last thing I say on politics. Every 4 years or every 8 years, they will give us a different hat with somebody else's name across it. Right now, it's Harris or it's Trump. Before it was Biden. Before it was Clinton. Before it was Obama. Before it was John McCain. And every 4 years, they're going to give us a hat and you're going to put a name on it and everybody's going to hold signs and get to arguing. Until you put your own damn name across your own damn hat and realize that's the name you need to be concerned about, and that's the name you need to stand up for, and that's the name you need to protect, we will all be stuck in a game. At some point, Trump will be gone, Harris will be gone, just like Obama's gone and Clinton is gone, and all these people are rich, wealthy, got it together, and are backed by corrupt millionaires. At some point, you will wake up and realize none of that money is coming your way. Number two, there was billions of dollars spent just to see who's going to win this contest. Billions. And so while we spend billions of dollars worried about who's going to win the presidency, none of that money is in fixing the country. It's just money that's been poured in to see who's going to win. All the world problems and billions are being paid to see who's going to win a seat. You think they worried about you, Democrat or Republican? You think anybody's worried about you? No, it's a power game. And the only power I'm worried about is the power of God and the power of family. Now I'm done. All right. Democrats and Republicans had the same agenda. Yes, they do. It's one big wall with two different doors in it, and they got us thinking it's something different. All right, let me get back. All right, this is the last thing I'm going to do, and then we'll end the show today. My goodness, we've been an hour and 36 minutes. All right, the effects of toxic femininity on men. Erosion of self-worth. Toxic femininity erodes the self-worth of a man. When he loves her, I'm not talking about any woman can just do this to a man. Toxic femininity only works on a man that loves a woman. In other words, a woman can't just be toxic and just do this to any man. When a man loves a woman, he can be controlled by these things, right? So the first thing that happens to a man when he's dealing with toxic femininity is his self-worth. His self-worth erodes. When men are subject to manipulation and constant emotional withdrawal, eventually we start questioning our self-worth. Am I worth anything? Because I'm losing all the time. You start to feel like you're not enough, right? Because the toxic female will always want. She won't invest. She will always want. And she'll tell you that the relationship will get better when you do this. And the relationship will get better when you do that. The relationship will get better when you bring on more money. The relationship will get better if you love me more. It's always about what she needs. It will never be about you. Number two, emotional suppression. Feminine toxicity, it causes emotional suppression in men, right? Toxic femininity often it leverages societal expectations of men to be strong, to be stoic, right? Be strong, be stoic, no matter what I'm doing. I could be jumping around breaking glass. You be strong, you be stoic, right? So eventually, if the expectation is I'm going to be still and chill while your toxic femininity blows up, that suppresses me. What that says is I can't say anything about this. There's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can do. I just got to deal with this. Eventually, he'll suppress and he won't have any feelings about anything. Right? Number three, the third thing that toxic femininity does to a man, it controls him. It controls his every move because he doesn't want a woman feeling off. He doesn't want her angry. He knows what it's going to cost if she's angry. So he's not free. He's not free. He becomes dependent on her happiness because he knows if she's not happy, the whole house will be turned upside down. Men in relationship with a toxic partner will feel manipulated, will feel controlled. He'll lack personal agency in his life, right? And he'll do anything to prevent her from acting up because he knows how it feels. Number four, the fourth thing that toxic femininity does to a man, it increases isolation. It makes him stay by himself. That's why men build man caves. Right? Man cave is a cute concept. Oh, he goes into man caves and he watches game or he smokes a cigar. That man cave, it becomes a place for him to die, a place for him not to talk, a place for him to burn up in there to himself. He's only hoping to watch the game for some peace. But most of all, he's in there dealing with his inward struggle, trying to escape the toxic female. He isolates himself. If a man is in a relationship where he needs her affection for his approval, and she won't ever give it to him, eventually he'll go by himself and try to find some support somewhere. Number 5, fear of commitment. When a woman is toxic, a man is afraid to commit to her. He knows it's going to cost him too much, right? He knows his vulnerability is going to cost him. Fear, I can't commit to her. I can be around her for her fun sides, but he can never commit to her because he's afraid. The last thing toxic femininity does in a man is it causes insecurity in his masculinity. Toxic femininity can push a narrative that men are the problem. Men are inadequate. Men are insecure. The issue is men. It's your problem. You're too strong. You talk too loud. Feminine toxicity will make a man change his voice. Oh, well, you know what I'm trying to say, honey? He can't even talk with his regular voice. It crushes him. It crushes his masculinity, right? How quiet can he be? How quiet can I be? How out the way can I be? Right? Can I sit just in the corner? It's like an abused child. I just want to sit in the corner so I don't get in trouble. That's what happens to a man who loves a woman that's toxic. He feels inadequate. His identity is gone. And eventually this type of pressure, it contributes to his self-doubt. And you know the worst thing that happens to the toxic woman? Eventually that man begins to resent that he ever spent a day with her. Let me get back in the chat. I'm done teaching for the day. Let me see. I thought man caves were because we didn't want to be bothered. Yeah, that's part of it, Rich. Yeah, part of it. See, but again, got to remember, on my show, I'm always looking at the deeper aspect of a thing, right? Would I like a man cave? Well, probably not. I'm not really into that. But man caves are cool. My friends got them. Really cool man caves. But you know, every time I talk to him, I find out when we really sit in that man cave and he talks, he's saying everything he wish he could say to his wife. He's saying everything he wish he could say to his kids. See, in those man caves is where men begin to lament about everything that he can't say outside of it. That's the danger of the man cave. The man cave is good until it becomes his own trap, right? This the problem with the man cave. And I say this to women all the time about their emotions. When women say, you know, I ain't letting nobody else in. Ain't no man ever I ain't never letting a man in. The problem is you'll never let a man in, but you'll never get out of that trap you're in either. That's the issue with the man cave. I found a man cave where I could just be by myself, right? But the man caves also become emotional, right? Where, yeah, nobody can get in here to mess with me. I don't want to be bothered. The problem is, what do I do when I can't get out? When I become my own best friend in this man cave where now I'm talking to myself or I'm suppressing feelings I should say to my wife. That's where man caves get dangerous. They're beautiful until it gets scary. Well, everybody, thanks so much for sharing. Thank you.